Okay, so 35-week update. I am now 35 weeks and 5 days, so I'm just hitting the end of the 35-week mark, and feel like it's going slow, but at the same time I know it's going really fast. So I really only have a couple weeks left. I have a doctor's appointment on Monday, tomorrow, and I will find out more about how long they'll let me go past my due date. Well, I'm hoping to find out that information. I'm going to ask. I feel like when I've asked in the past, they've kind of just said, oh yeah, we'll talk about it later. But I asked kind of early on in the second trimester, maybe when I was like 22 weeks or something like that. So I feel like now that I'm further along, I might be able to ask and get some answers, just because the anticipation is killing me, and I want to at least have an idea of how long I can go past my due date. So I know they'll let me go past, but I want to know how far past, and I think I also am really just curious because with my, I did the letrozole and the Avodril trigger shot, so we know exactly when I became pregnant. It's not a guessing game for me, so we know exactly how far along I am, and my dates are exact. It's not a guess. So I'm hoping they'll say, maybe like 41 weeks. I definitely don't want to go past that. I get nervous. There are risks the further you go past your due date, and especially because mine is not a guess. I don't think there would be need to go much past that. So anyways, hopefully I'll find out this week and get some answers from my doctor. So this week for 35 weeks, it has been kind of an eventful week in terms of pregnancy and prepping for baby. So along the lines of going to the doctor and kind of having those conversations about labor and things like that, at my appointment last week at 35 weeks, they did give me like a little bag with a bunch of stuff in it, and inside the bag had instructions for labor, so when I should go to the hospital, when to call in, things to be aware of, things like that. And it also said that if we wanted to have a birth plan, that I need to bring that in the doctor's office so the doctors can review it ahead of time. So my husband and I worked on that this weekend. So we have the birth plan written up. It is nothing crazy, but I do want to have an unmedicated birth. That's the goal. If I do have to be induced, I will probably end up with an epidural, just because of everything that I've heard about it being induced, and if you need Pitocin and things like that, all the how much more pain you're going to be in. So the goal is to not have to be induced and to not have to have an epidural. I don't even really want IV fluids. So I have all of that in my birth plan. And then also just like immediate skin to skin, we do want to do delayed cord clamping. If there is an emergency need for a C-section, that my husband would do skin to skin right away. So we have all those things in the birth plan, but there's no crazy kind of requests in there. It's just the normal things that you might find in a birth plan. So we're going to bring that to the doctor tomorrow for them to review it, just so there's no surprises. And then when we have that discussion, I think it'll be a really good time for me to bring up, how far over would you have me go? And they haven't checked me for dilation or my cervix at all, so I don't know if that's something they'll do tomorrow, and I'll probably just ask that as well, ask, when they start doing checks and things like that. So we'll know more tomorrow, and that will be the last day in the 35th week before I start 36 weeks. But I'm just a little bit anxious to find out more about how the office and the doctors will kind of work through the labor and delivery of my baby. And I don't know if I mentioned this in the past, but my face is like, I don't know if there's like a hair, but my face is like itching right now. But anyways, my doctor's office, I have an office, and I switched to this office once I became pregnant because I went to my old office, and that's when everything happened with my ectopic, and I was misdiagnosed and had to have emergency surgery And all of that I talk about in the my ectopic pregnancy video. But once that happened, I switched offices and I actually went right to a fertility clinic from my last office. So after the fertility clinic, then I got a new OB office. So I started going to them when I was, I think it was like 10 weeks pregnant already. And since I was a new patient there, they said I wouldn't pick a doctor. I would just see each doctor a few times throughout my pregnancy. So at this point, I've seen all of the doctors more than once except for one, and I have an appointment with that one I've only seen once in 2 weeks when I'm 37 weeks. But everybody else I've seen a few times. And it's so you get familiar with the doctors, which I kind of like, because there was one at first I was like, oh, I don't like her. I don't want her to deliver my baby. But now that I've had her a few times, I feel a little bit more comfortable with her and like her a little bit more. So if she ends up delivering my baby, I think I'll be okay with that. So they do it that way because you're going to get whoever's on call if you go into labor on your own. If you get induced, then I think you would get to pick, but I'm not sure about that. And that's something I want to ask again tomorrow, just how that works. If I did have to be induced or have a C-section for whatever reason, do I get to pick, and how that all works? Because I really have no idea. This is the first baby I'm going to be delivering, so I don't know how all that works. And also, I don't know anybody who's been to this practice, so I really just don't know. So I'm going to ask those questions tomorrow at my appointment. So anyways, at the 35-week appointment this week, I actually wasn't supposed to have an appointment this week, but I had been waking up in the middle of the night with swollen hands, swollen feet, and swollen knees, and I've been checking my blood pressure, and it's been kind of elevated. So they said if that happened, since I've had high blood pressure the past couple of weeks, they said if it went up to give them a call, and then they would say if they want me to come in or not. So I called and they said, yep, come in, we'll do a check. So I went in and it was just kind of like a regular appointment. They checked my blood pressure, and when I got there, it was high. So they waited like 10 minutes, checked again, it lowered a little bit, but it was still high. So my doctor said she wanted to send me to labor and delivery to get a non-stress test, a full blood workup to make sure I didn't have preeclampsia and all these things. So she finished with her appointment there, and they actually did the GBS test, the Group B strep test, then instead of doing it at 36 weeks, we did it at the 35-week appointment. So I should get my results back from that tomorrow as well. But so they set me up to labor and delivery after that appointment. So I just went right upstairs since labor and delivery, my OB office is in the hospital, so labor and delivery is just right upstairs. So I went, they hooked me up, and of course, as soon as I get up there, my blood pressure is like so low and so normal, and I was just like, this happens every single time. And in labor and delivery, they're like, maybe you're just more relaxed when you come up here. And I mean, it is kind of relaxing up there because they hook you up to the monitor so you can like hear your baby's heart rate the whole time, so you know everything's fine. I don't really know, because every time I check my blood pressure myself, it's high. Every time I go into my appointments, it's high, but when I go to labor and delivery, it's fine. So either way, I spent 2 hours in labor and delivery, about 2 hours at my OB office. So it was just a really long day of monitoring and just making sure everything was okay with me, everything was okay with the baby, and it turned out to be fine. So my appointment was at 10:15, and I got released from the hospital like 1:45, almost 2 o'clock. And I was just having a lot of anxiety because I was in the office for so long and just like in the hospital for so long, and I just wanted to leave. And kind of, you know, once I knew everything was okay, and they had actually taken me off the monitors, and I still had to stay in labor and delivery for about an hour while I waited for my doctor to review the results and say it was okay for me to be discharged. So that like gave me more anxiety just sitting there and waiting, and I was like, I just want to leave. I've been here forever. But anyways, everything was fine. Baby's heart rate was good. And movement was good while I was there. So that all was really good. Other than that, this week at 35 weeks, my husband and I both were sick, which was not fun. I'm still kind of sick and kind of just like stuffy. We have been sleeping with a humidifier on in our room, because for some reason our room is the warmest room in the house, and I don't even know how we can lower the temperature, but it gets so dry in there. So I'll wake up in the middle of the night, it's just like my throat is so dry and like my nose is so dry, and it just is like painful. And I more wake up in the night because of that than anything else. So that's kind of annoying, and there's not really much that we could do about it. We have the humidifier on. I actually, because we had already set up the Halo Bassinet, we actually moved that out of the way so I could put the humidifier closer to me so I could have more moisture like in the air that I'm breathing, because it's so painful for me, but it's still not helping. I'm trying to like stay more hydrated and also drink more tea to just keep the fluids going, because I am getting so dry in the middle of the night. But other than that, I am feeling a little bit better. I'm not really feeling the cold symptoms. I'm really just feeling the really dry, scratchy throat and nose from it being dry. Another highlight this week, I got a prenatal massage, and it was amazing. So the last prenatal massage I got, she was very pushed really hard, a lot of pressure. And normally I like a lot of pressure, but I think during pregnancy, everything is just really sensitive and very painful. So I had asked her to ease up, and she didn't really. So I spent the entire hour kind of like in pain. I felt really great afterwards, but during the massage, it was very painful. So this time I had a different girl, and it was amazing. It was like the perfect amount of pressure. She really got like my shoulders, and that was just amazing. So I feel like I needed that, because for some reason, once I hit 35 weeks, I finally feel like very pregnant. I feel like I know what people are talking about when they say they feel just like heavy, their belly's heavy, and they just feel pregnant. That's how I feel right now. So the massage really helped. And that was, both of the massages I got were gifts from friends. So that was just really thoughtful and a really nice gift. And now I have a really great idea for if I have someone who becomes pregnant in my life, to get them a prenatal massage, because I feel like I haven't even thought about it. Like I love to get massages, but I haven't even thought, oh, let me go get one. So it was nice that my friends kind of thought of that and thought it would be something that I would enjoy. So those were both really nice. Even though the first one was a little painful, it was still really nice. What else? For symptoms, yeah, just the normal heartburn, headache, swelling in my hands, knees, and feet, which I wake up in the morning and like my hands, I can feel that they were so swollen. I'm actually like wearing my ring right now, but it's very tight. So my husband is working on packing his hospital bag today. So he's gonna bring a zip-up hoodie. I read somewhere that it's good for the dad to bring a zip-up hoodie so they could do skin to skin, and it's like easy access for them. So we're just washing that with like the free and clear detergent right now, and just getting everything set, just because I know we still have time, but it's just easier to have everything ready to go, and I don't see any harm in having it ready to go, versus I would rather that than the time come and then be scrambling to get things together. So it's just easier to have it done. So that should be done today. The only thing that we have to get is he wants to pick up some snacks. We went to the store and they didn't have what he wanted, so he said he'll get those this week and just throw them in his bag just so we have them. It was funny because he even said he was picking out like a t-shirt to bring, and he's like, oh, I'll just pick it out that day. I'm like, no, just pick a shirt and put it in your bag now, because we don't need to be worrying on the day like, oh my gosh, what t-shirt are you gonna bring? It's like not even a big deal. Just pick a shirt and put it in the bag. So we did that. We're just washing all the stuff first to put it in his bag. So my bag's packed, baby's bag is packed, and his bag will be packed by the end of today. That's really it. The only other thing, I've been holding this in my hand, some things that I got this week. So I got this Buzz Bee nail buffer, and it just like, well, you can't see, it turns on and to buff the nails versus clipping the nails. I am very nervous to clip the baby's nails, and I think I do have in my hospital bag nail clippers, and I know like the further you go, the longer their nails are going to be when you get to the hospital. I don't know how it works. Like, do the nurses cut their nails? Do I do it? Do I do it in the hospital or wait till I get home? I really have no idea. So I might bring this as well, just because I think it'll give me a little bit more peace of mind to be able to just like buff the nails rather than, or like file them down rather than clipping the nails. It just makes me so nervous. I get nervous even cutting my own nails. So I don't really want to do the babies. Another thing that I got this week is I finally ordered some water wipes. So I've heard really great things about these wipes, and I'm really excited to try them. I waited to order them because I heard that because it's 99% water and a drop of fruit extract. And the reason why I waited to order these is because I heard that because there's no like preservatives in them, they get moldy. So you don't want to order these in like bulk for like months and months and months. And it does say on the ones that I ordered, I think they were packaged September 2017 and they expire September or December, I can't remember, 2018. So it's about a year that you have to use them, but they might go bad sooner than that. I don't really know. But I just ordered, I have 4 of these packs. So I'll see if I like them. But I've also heard they're very wet, and I know some people don't like a very wet wipe. They like a little bit more of a dry wipe. So I don't really know, because I mean, I've changed diapers before, but I don't know that I have a preference. So we'll see. I also have a bunch of Pampers sensitive wipes, and I also have, I had gotten in my Amazon box, I actually have it here in my Amazon, like, I don't know, when you register with them, I got this, it's too bright, this pack of Huggies wipes, and these say they're natural wipes as well. So these are fragrance free, and so, you know, I have a few different kinds to try, so we'll see what we like. The reason why I wanted to have something more like natural is I have sensitive skin, and so does my husband. Like, we've always used a free and clear detergent because I can't sleep on sheets or wear clothes that have like any of that blue detergent, like the Tide and stuff. It makes me so itchy. So I can only imagine with a newborn that, I don't know, and if they have skin like me, that they'll be sensitive to it. So that's why I got wipes that were kind of more natural or didn't have things in it, but those Amazon ones were in my welcome box, so we can try them. But I have a big box of the Pampers sensitive, and then I also have the water wipes, so we'll see what we like, and then we'll order more after that. And then the other thing that I got this week, which we set up this weekend, is this camera. So this is the Infant Optics camera. So that's the camera, and then this is the monitor. So they go together, and we actually put it up on the wall in the nursery. So it kind of like goes above, and then you can adjust it to see like the whole crib. You can see the door coming in. You can't see the window, but also it comes down off the wall very easily. If you know, in the first few months when she's in the bassinet, or she's like downstairs sleeping and we want to have the camera there, we can move it very easily. So last week I was talking about how I had the Lollipop camera and how I just didn't, well, I liked it, but then the head popped off. So I sent that back, and we ordered the Infant Optics one. So so far I like it. The one thing that we originally thought we wanted was one that we could look up on our phone, but it's not that important. I mean, if we're home with the baby, we don't need it. So it's fine that we can't use this one with our phone. I think it'll be fine for what we need it for, so we're totally okay with that. And it's cool because you can talk into you can talk into this handheld thing and talk, you know, once your baby's a little bit older, and say like go to sleep or, you know, whatever. So that's cool. And then also you can obviously hear if the baby's crying or anything like that. So, and you can actually add more cameras to it. So, you know, if you wanted to get a second camera so you don't have to move it and things like that. So we're excited to try that. And that's really it for 35 weeks. You know, I'm gonna be 36 weeks soon, so we're getting there. Definitely feeling pregnant and excited to meet baby girl in a few short weeks.